Alright, here we are back again on the Corvette. Haven't done as much video as I wanted. I've been in and out doing shows a couple days a week here, 4 or 5, and moving out. Here's another part I just wanted to go over, and some of the things you got when you don't expect. The hood is delaminated from the inside supports. If you can see, I got paint sticks supporting it up. Every single one of them has separated. The hood was floating. There was things moving around in the hood. We got old chunks that just came off, you know. Over time, there's none in here. They've just all kind of fell out. They were inside the channels of the hood. I'm going to be cleaning this all up. I'll baking soda all this and take these out so I can reattach and bonding it back together. I don't know, I wasn't even looking at the screen. Just give you an idea of what we got. I'm just going through it. But that's just some of the pieces that are just sitting here that were inside the hood. Like I said, I propped it up with some paint sticks to open it up to be able to get cleaned up. Mike's over here working on getting a door fitted. We've went through and cut out all the blisters and stuff that were in the back. Took off a lot of the body putty, and we re-resined it and glassed it down the sides where it just had dry hair from the fiberglass. That was all putty and everything through there, but somebody had coated the whole thing with lacquer primer, and it just had body putty over it and everything else. And if you look at the curves down the side and how smooth it feels and everything down the side, there was no reason for some of the putty that was on it. It was just a lot of buildup. And we still haven't approached the bottom on this side. We've been getting things. We're getting ready to line this door up. It's just hanging. This area in the door was just really full of body putty. It didn't have a need for that much body putty. We're going to end up moving the door out and shimming it out to where it's even with this. Maybe it's from them putting on this lower piece and doing some replacement work there that they just, old days just didn't get lined up as much. We've went back and refiberglassed and fixed all this and reinforced all this area that was cracked. Went in behind and reinforced and did all the fiberglassing down inside. We fixed, if you look in here, all the cracks and splits that were around there. We just need to get it sanded and smoothed up. We fixed all the cracks and the delamination through here and through the sides. And we're getting ready to fit some of the panels on, and he's putting the hinges and everything back in place. And we've run around and cleaned off a lot of the areas that had just way too much body putty filling in, where things just weren't lined in, they just filled. So that's about where we're at. We've taken this piece back here in the back that had cracks all through it, and I've fixed all the fiberglass. Let me get rid of some of my stuff sitting on this. And got my pencils out. I've done a lot of measuring on the inside of the hood, but all these are fixed. We took and fixed all the cracks and everything and reinforced it and strengthened it all up real good. And all that's ready to sand down and place on the car to do our alignment too. And that's about where we are with everything. Just we've had to do some traveling to some AACA shows and get some other things. We're hoping to be all finished up this and take it up to Hershey by the end of the summer. But that's about where we're at with things. And so, all right. Well, here's what all came out of there. That's just normal, you know, stuff from the 60s and 70s. It just had detached. Some places it looked like it was, you know, they put some, I don't even know what the black stuff that they tried to glue it back down with. We'll take it and get the right material to put in between it. Panel bonding adhesive that's for fiberglass that's supposed to go between here, and we'll get it all fixed up here real quick. But I got to kind of scrape off this stuff. It looks like some kind of JB weld or something. I don't know what it is. It's real hard. It's a black material that detached right away from the glass. So we'll get that bonded back down, and I'll come back to this once we get it all cleaned up and show you what it looks like then.
Stop it for a minute. Assembly except for the hub, so you gotta press the bearing on.
Yeah.
It'll be next.
Yeah, they're all ready to go.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna go back to the car. Alright, body on the 67 Vette. Have went through and removed all previous old body putty, and I've blocked and perfected the lines out. What we have done now is put a light coat of metal glaze over things, and we're getting ready to block the lower part out around the fins. The upper part I have blocked out and removed everything, and now we're working on perfecting out all the lines. I've put a thick mix, which is a powder residue and fiberglass residue, in here to reinforce this area where the line wasn't right. I'm getting ready to carve that out with some 24 grit. We've went through the body lines that were there previously and laid them all out at a 3/16 gap line that you can run all the way down the gap line and give a real nice even gap line down through the side. And then we're going to be doing the same back here, where we'll be carving out the gap line and getting it to an even line for when we go to do paint. And just getting the body all back. This was the worst side of the car on the front. I went through and got the lines real nice, evened everything. Like I said, I put a nice even coat of metal glaze across it, and we're going to be going onto the roof in the back quarter area and up on here and getting this all laid out today. Like I said, I put some fiberglass reinforcement there where the line had a gap where somebody else had put body putty. Well, it's just not strong enough. You shouldn't have your body putty but paper thin. We relined the door and shimmed the door out where previously this body putty here and down through here was over a 1/2 inch thick, and up through here we removed all that, and what we worked is shimming the door and getting the door lined up with shims on plates on the insides of the hinge so the door would fit the fiberglass real nice and even, get a real nice even gap down through here and everything. As you can see, we have a little bit tightness through here that will work and file that down so it has a real nice line. We're getting a real nice line all around the top going through there, and that's about where she is right at the moment. And then we'll be moving on to the rest of it. We've already went through and worked a lot of the spots that we've dug out old putty and reinforced and crack lines, and went to a resin film mix, which is a thick mix in fiberglass, to give it some strength and do it the proper way. So the thing's moving along pretty good right at the moment. Alright, we got the rear up here. We were going through it. Universal joints are all a little stiff and wobbly in a couple. Got some slop back and forth. And while the rear is completely torn down to this stage, we figured it's the perfect time to take these out and go ahead and replace them, because once it's all together, even if they ran for another year or so, they cause problem and vibration at higher speed. So we replaced them all now while the whole thing's torn down. It costs more money later on to take it back apart. So we'll show you when we got the rear all put back together. Alright, we got a little piece of metal on here on the bottom of the corner of the fender where the fiberglass was completely broke off. And what we made is a metal template and waxed it and then put it in place. Go ahead and remove that. And what we did is made fiberglass. And let's see if I can get around it. Made a perfect little replacement so you guys can see a proper way to make an area so you don't have a large buildup of materials and you get the fiberglass real dense and strong. It's real strong on there. And then we'll go back and we'll cut this and finalize it down, and it just gives you a real close look. That's the rough draft of it, and I'll come back when we sand it out. But what we did was take a piece of metal and we took it on the strinker and made a shape with a template. So we had the shape of where it was going to go and waxed it in place, set it where we needed to go, and then we did all our resin and our fiberglass and reinforced it. Just give you a quick look at where that was. But I'm doing the same things in a couple of the areas where the gaps and old previous work. I went and resined and thick mixed and filled this seam so the seam would be real good and strong right through there. So where you shut your door is a nice seam. Did the same thing where the gap and the seam had been just destroyed, where somebody had grinded all out and just put putty. It was all cracked. Moved all that and reinforced it and did it in fiberglass to get this area where the door comes together. So we got a real nice line right there. You can see how, and I haven't even started to lay any kind of body putty here. We've run around and got our gaps, and you get a gapping tool and you go around and you get a nice even 3/16 gap around everything. So your gap tool goes right down the side and you line your gap tool right up. So you'll start with a nice gap line. We have that on all our seams now, if you're going around all your seams. And that's what we're working around on this one and finaling this out. Alright, here we are on the roof. I've been working at the roof to find out what the problem was before. It was really blistered and had wrinkles all through it when we first brought it in. You could see it. We stripped off the first layer. We were hoping some of the old putty was good. Some of the places of the car it's been good. If you see, I've got our body lines real nice. I've carved out the body lines real nice and straightened all the cracks up, fixed all that. We got a real nice thing. But what the original problem was in the roof, where this was blistered all the way through, is if you look, this original tiger hair putty that they have, I can pick at it with a fingernail and dig a hole right into it in soft spots. They got where they didn't mix the original short strand tiger hair properly, and what we have is soft dots in it. If you go in different places, I can just dig them out with my fingernail and get a real deep hole. And even body putty you can't dig out with your fingernail. So what I'm going to do is remove all this, and you see where they had air pockets in it that they look like they filled with putty. This one just popped right out with my fingernail. These popped out. I'm digging them deep. So what I'm going to do is strip all this original tiger hair, and if you run your hand across this thing, this is all high still. We got a nice line to this side and nice across the front. I'm not finding much problem with any of the original body putty up here that they have, except for it was just way too thick in the curvature matching this side. So I'm gonna remove this, and then I'm gonna coat the whole roof with good 3M body putty that's real good, and get this smoothed out. I've blocked it and blocked it, and actually I've went across it with the air file. I got so irritated of the wave in it right here, and it's like a perfect gas plant. So we're gonna take care of that. All right, I'm stripping this off this spot. I'm back to this spot real quick with 24 grit. I'm just gonna kind of zoom in here. See all these light spots that are here, here, here. This is unactivated mix where you can just dig these out. And you also have air pockets in places, but these, when I'm digging them out with my fingernail, are actually soft inside, where somebody didn't have enough experience in spreading and mixing and didn't knead. And what I mean by kneading is milking the material till it's really mixed together. You know, some people will mix their material with a paint stick or something, and it won't knead it together. You got to go back and do it with a paddle and smooth it out like you're making cake batter, making some icing. So I just wanted to give you a quick look at what the original problem was. It goes pretty deep. This underlayment here looks like it was reinforced, but that looks more like it was put on because it's so smooth with everything else, like by factory. You got your normal line right here for your bonding strip that's underneath where it changes, but I'm gonna remove all that and we ought to be good to go. And it ought to be fine after that, no more problem.
Alright, good.
Alright, I got out the gauge tool and put the gauge tool on this side. I got a real nice line to this. If we move the gauge tool over to the side that looks like it had damage, but I think this is a factory dip in it that was right here. If you see, we got a low area through here and a low area through this center area here. If we move this all the way across, you'll see that it's low and it comes back to smooth right here. Now this could have been, I see it goes right all the way up to here and it's smooth. Now molds, fiberglass molds, everything else are not perfect. You'll have defects. This fiberglass that looks like it's in this general area looks really good and strong, has good fiber to it and everything else. It looks like it could have been a factory repair before it even left, and they blocked it out and filled it with gel coat, and then somebody else might have got into it and it looked like it was filled with a fiberglass reinforcement like a tiger hair or a thin mix, and it wasn't kneaded and melted down properly. It was full of soft spots and air bubbles, and that was the cause of all the blistering up here all the way through. This side of the roof, we have taken all the gel coat down and it is perfect. It has a real nice line to it all the way down it. This side just needs to be re-gel coated. I'm going to work this center seam so I get a real nice line to it. But we're probably going to mix up a fiberglass thick mix to fill in this little bit of low area through here and do it with a proper mix, and then I'll go and layer the whole roof section on that side with a thin coat of body putty. And that should take care of it permanently, that it's completely and properly repaired. That's where we're at. So I just wanted to let y'all see that, you know, if you lay this thing down with a good gauging tool, that you'll see the difference in one side or the other. And 1967. If you take the camera and go on the inside of the roof, underneath, you'll see that whatever repair that was done there was not any type of cracking or anything. And you can feel the bow right here all the way through. That makes me believe that this was all the way back to factory, popping off the mold, which is common in a fiberglass car and stuff like that. You can get a pocket, a pull pocket of any kind, but that is all solid and good. So we're gonna make that look perfect again, the proper way.